The fake news would rather see us lose the war than win the war, which is really treasonous. In a certain way. So we're doing another major attack tonight. They want to make a deal. They came back. We made a deal 2 days ago, and they want to make a deal. They've been negotiating for 47 years, but nobody's ever hit them militarily. We're hitting them very hard. Thank you very much.
That was Donald Trump responding to Caitlin Collins' question there. Now, the president has been blasting the media's coverage, which, as we know, has been essentially rooting against America from the very beginning, while the US and Israel have been bravely taking on the largest state sponsor of terror. Donald Trump also reminded CNN that it wasn't that long ago that the Iranian regime was gunning down tens of thousands of its own citizens just in January. Donald Trump says that this is not going to be happening again on his watch. And while the leftist media is just so desperate to focus so much of its coverage just attacking the US, attacking the US president, Donald Trump is reminding the media just how powerful the US military is.
And then you read fake news like your network, CNN, which is fake news. You read them, you have them say, well, actually, aren't they doing quite well? Let me just tell you, they have now inflation of over 300%. 4 months ago, they had inflation of 5%. Now they're at over 300, could be 350%. They made a deal, they broke it, probably 10 times. And they killed a lot of people. They killed our people. But the protesters, what they've done to the protesters, 52,000. Have you ever seen any of the burial lots where they're burying the protesters? They killed 52,000 protesters, and on my watch, they can't do any of that. So we have them in a position that they don't have any military. There's not a thing they can do about it.
Donald Trump stunning reporters with some facts and some common sense once again. And the president is also reminding journalists to have some perspective. Other wars have dragged on for decades. No one wants to see this happen again, but this conflict has lasted around 4 months. Before this president wrapped up his press conference with reporters, he had this message for another one.
Please. Wait, please. Wait, Jeff.
I'm sorry.
Be nice, Jeff. Go ahead, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
I have to teach him to be nice.
Joining us now is Jonathan Tobin, Editor-in-Chief of JNS. Jonathan, thank you so much for your time. We've heard from US President Donald Trump, and he said that they were hitting Iran very hard, launching strikes for the third consecutive night. Now, Trump has declared that US forces will move to control the Strait of Hormuz and charge all ships a 20% cargo fee for passage, claiming that the United States will act as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait. He posted this on Truth Social saying the USA will be from this point forward known as the guardian of the Hormuz Strait, but as such and as a matter of fairness will be reimbursed at the rate of 20% on all cargo shipped for any and all costs necessary to do the job of providing safety and security to this very volatile section of the world. The process and formation will begin immediately. Jonathan, how's this going to work?
Well, I'm not sure exactly how it's going to work, but I can tell you this, Trump had enough. He had stopped the war in the hope of lowering, gas prices in the United States and sort of stabilizing things. And in the memorandum of understanding that he had agreed to with Iran, he'd basically given them a big gift. But they wouldn't play ball. They wouldn't go along with it. They kept, treating him as if he was Barack Obama or Joe Biden, and kept doubling down and provoking and making it clear, and it was clear, I think, to anybody who knew anything about Iran before this, that they would never seriously negotiate. They would not end the war. They would not give up any of their ambitions. And he's had enough, and he's going to, and typically in Trumpian style, when they said they would charge, he's like, well, you're going to charge, we'll charge. And which is another, also, not only a swipe at Iran, but a swipe at America's European allies who benefit the most from America stopping the Iranians from interfering with international shipping and are contributing nothing to this effort. So he's getting even with everybody who has not done as he wanted.
Look, what does this mean for future potential talks? Are they going to hold any weight, or what do things look like in terms of bringing this conflict to an end?
I think, in part, this may be a negotiating tactic. That's how Trump thinks. Everything's a business deal. And he's done pretty well with that in his administration. I'm not sure that negotiations could ever work with Iran. But what he's doing is showing them that the kind of tactics that forced America to back down under Obama and under Biden aren't going to work on him. That's encouraging. I have to say, I think like many supporters of the president, of his policies in the Middle East, I was very discouraged by, his backing down and sending J.D. Vance to sort of sign a surrender with Iran. But, they wouldn't play along. They wouldn't surrender. They sensed weakness and they acted as they always do. But Trump is he's a different kind of cat than his predecessors, and he's not going to put up with it. And whether it leads to more negotiations, I'm not sure. I think that's what he hopes. But if not, if the Iranians continue to play the way that they have played the last month and a half, Trump will continue to hit them and to control the strait, which the United States can. He worried that, this war was unpopular, which it is in the United States, and that it would hurt him in the midterms. But I think he may have come to the conclusion that there's something that could hurt him even more. And that is a defeat in a war, rather than merely, really agreeing to an unsuccessful war or a long war that is difficult and unpopular. The United States being defeated would completely ruin not merely his brand, but would undermine everything he's been trying to accomplish in his second term. And I think he understands that. He's not as dumb or as weak as not only his domestic critics think he is. He's not dumb or weak at all, and he's not as dumb or weak as the Iranians seem to think he was. And he's showing that to them right now. I think that's for the good. And I think, at the outset of this war, despite some of the rumors that the Israelis overpromised or dragged him into the war, they did nothing of the kind. In fact, my information is that they told him this would be a long, hard struggle, might take as much as a year. And he didn't want that. He wanted a short war because that's what Americans like, and that's what he wanted. But perhaps the Iranians have convinced him that the Israelis were right and that there is no alternative but to keep pressuring them, to blockade their ports, which is putting tremendous pressure on their economy and the regime. America is strong, despite the terms of the negotiations that they agreed to in the Memorandum of Understanding. Iran is weak. America is strong, and that is the message that he is sending to Iran today. And all I can say is I hope it gets through, and that they will give up this war and negotiate something that he and the West can live with. But I rather doubt it. I think this is going to have to continue until one way or the other the regime waves the white flag. They seem to think that they can inflict unlimited pain on the West and that they can suffer anything. We're going to find out if that's really true.
It's interesting. You mentioned the midterms. Do you think that Iran really wanted to prolong this war to impact Trump politically? And what do you make of Iran's response so far in this recent escalation that it's been hitting US bases and Gulf states?
Yeah, I think they would love to prolong this. They would love to discomfort Trump. And it's interesting in that they're hitting all of the Arab allies of the United States in the region. They are not striking at Israel. And, they hate Israel far more than their Arab neighbors. And I think the reason that they're doing that is that they don't want to go back to all-out war. Because if they hit Israel, Israel will hit back, and, the gloves will be off and we'll be back to where we were in April. And that, it isn't what Trump wants. It's not what the American people want. It's not, but it is going to be much worse for Iran than it will be for Trump. And again, the war is unpopular. It's a political liability to some extent in this country. But, bending the knee to the Iranians will be even worse for Trump. And showing them that America is still strong, I think, will help him far more than it will hurt.
Yeah, and I think Donald Trump has to make that message loud and clear to the media sometimes. He blasted CNN today. So much of the media's coverage seems to be favouring Iran, or really just focusing its attack on the US president. It's interesting listening to Donald Trump today because he referenced the protesters that were gunned down at the start of the year in January, and he said that that was not going to happen again on his watch. Looking at Iran's leadership at the moment, obviously Iran's military has been crushed, but how much control does Iran's new leadership actually have over the IRGC?
Well, continuing to destroy New York City. I almost say this every time we do videos on Monday, where President Trump said communism just does not work. All they do is just promise a lot of free stuff that just can't happen. And now Mondani is being ripped after a rising surge in fire bombings and attacks on churches. They saying that he's going radio silence, and there's been at least 4 churches in recent months that's been under attack, and Mondani has been radio silent on it, ain't said anything about these churches being attacked. And not only that, remember we covered the other day that he was setting up a meeting, because remember, Iran is trying to plot to assassinate President Trump, and you got Zoran Mondani going behind President Trump back, trying to set up a private meeting with Iran until President Trump stopped it. So why is Mondani trying to set up a meeting with Iran, who is trying to plot to assassinate President Trump? So it seems like Mondani is working alone with them. It is so much stuff coming out, rent surging in New York City. This is crazy. This is crazy. Let's get to it, because I gotta show y'all this. Please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Shout out to everybody showing so much support, and shout out to the ones always watching the entire video. I appreciate all of you who always let me know that you did stay to the very end. So if you look right here, say Uganda Mayor Mondani is being ripped after a rising surge in fire bombings and attacks on churches. Check it out.
Word from New York City's Mayor Zoran Mamdani after a string of attacks on multiple churches. Silence is deafening from a socialist who never seems to hesitate to lecture New Yorkers about justice and intolerance. A man is federally charged with allegedly firebombing 2 houses of worship in Queens, and investigators have not ruled out arson in the fire that destroyed a 170-year-old Brooklyn church. That's such a heartbreak. They're still examining the evidence of possible foul play. But when churches are attacked or burned, City Hall should never go quiet. Condemning hate shouldn't be a question of politics, but this is what happens when progressive politics treat faith as an afterthought and religious institutions as something less worthy of public concern. Here to weigh in is Bruce Blakeman.
Now, if you see that, like I said, Mondani is radio silent, and of course I had to blur it out because I can't show like churches, stuff like that being set on fire and all that. So I had to blur that out because YouTube be trying to flag if you don't, blur it out. But you can see that, and you haven't heard Mondani say anything about this. And there's been 4 churches in recent months, and he's been radio silent, ain't said one word about it, just ignoring it. Look at this. Even Trump-endorsed New York governor candidate Bruce Blakeman obliterates Zoran Mondani for not caring about a surge in fire bombings against Christian churches in New York City.
Well, his silence is deafening, but it's not a big surprise. This is a guy who skipped the installation of a new archbishop of the Catholic Church in New York City. This is a guy who canceled a breakfast for the Puerto Rican Day Parade. This is a guy who wouldn't march in Israeli Day Parade. This is a guy who left Little Italy, both Little Italies in New York City, off his tourist map, but he put Little Palestine in there. I don't know any New Yorkers who know anything about where Little Palestine is. So he has demonstrated that he has an antipathy for Jews and Christians in the city, one of the largest constituents in the city of New York, and it's very troubling. His speech on July 4th was totally anti-American. It was as if America was an evil place. It was very dark, it was very disturbing, and basically he should be blessed to be the mayor of the city of New York in the greatest country in the world. So I'm not surprised, but it is very troubling.
So he said it's very troubling, and like I said, with him just being radio silent, not caring about it, he just said, you know what, he don't care about Chris, he's just gonna let churches burn, ain't gonna condemn it, ain't gonna say anything. That's why we was telling people, we was telling New Yorkers not to vote for this guy. All he was doing was just selling you a lie. And he was just pretty much saying anything to get your vote, and now look at him, and now you got a lot of New Yorkers who voted for Mondale and said, dang, well, I should have listened to President Trump. Dang, he didn't keep his promise. Of course he wasn't going to keep it. That is crazy, and I definitely want to throw this one in here for y'all. I say, wow, New Yorkers are stunned after a major new report just found New York City has hemorrhaged $11 billion in lost tax revenue across just 1 year. This caused by an exodus of millionaires. The same people Ugandan commie Mayor Mondale is actively pushing out as we speak with draconian policies. New York City is cooking itself because it elected a third world scammer. It would only get worse. New York's declining share of high-income taxpayers has meaningful consequences. And this is just some of the stuff that we was warning New York, because I made countless of videos like, please New York, do not fall for this free stuff. I'm gonna freeze this, I'm gonna do this. Don't fall for it, because like I said, a lot of it ain't nothing but a lie. So let's get to this rent and stuff like that. Say New York City just froze rent for nearly 1 million apartments. And then of course, you got landlords who's coming out upset like, hey, how am I make money? How am I keep my apartment buildings up? Like, what if the tenants need something fixed? So there's a lot going on with this. I've been seeing like two different sides of it. Some people okay with it, a lot of people not. But let's check this out.
Hey, John, it's a first of its kind move. The New York City Rent Guidelines Board just voted for a rent freeze for 1 and 2 year leases. This is the first time ever that the city has frozen 2-year leases for rent stabilized apartments. And before this, they'd only voted to freeze 1-year leases 3 times ever. This move affects nearly 1 million units. It passed 7-1 after the board's only pro-landlord representative, Christina Smith, resigned in protest just hours before the vote. Landlords say even before rent freezes, they struggle to maintain rent stabilized buildings. That is why small family landlord Natalia Bonanno decided to list the last of her family's buildings for sale a week ago, before the vote even happened. She had no trust in the process or in her city.
This just shows that the Rent Guidelines Board is not as nonpartisan and apolitical as they make themselves out to be. There was no reason, no data to support this type of rent freeze. All the data shows the cost of everything is going up, including taxes and insurance, and they still chose to just fulfill the mayor's campaign promise.
Bonanno has had 2 buildings on the market for months and listed the last 3 last week. She's been unable to sell any of them. And now there are concerns that this could be part of the larger plan to turn rent stabilized buildings into government-owned housing.
This appears to be the plan, because the next plan they want to pass is the ability for the city to intervene on the sale of these properties. The city will then dictate who you can sell your building to. So this does seem to be overall the goal of the housing advocates who just don't believe in private property.
The rent freeze is expected to face legal challenges, but as of now,
it's supposed to, because like I said, it's been a lot of landlords been coming out against it, of course, and you see the other young lady, she was trying to sell them. It's like nobody gonna buy them. It's like, if they buy them, what they gonna do? They're gonna have to tear them down or something, because renting them. You see what Mondale is doing? He was already talking about taking New York properties and stuff. Remember I showed y'all that video 2-3 months ago? He was already talking about taking people's properties. This is what's going on. This is crazy. Look at it. Rents in New York City have just hit an all-time high. And by the way, let me know, if you stay in New York City. Let me know if you stay in New York City. Median market rate in June, it's a Manhattan, you got $5,295 a month, 8.2% year over year. Then you got Brooklyn, $4,350 plus an 8.1%. NYC's housing affordability crisis is at DEFCON 1. We need to push harder on every front to address our housing shortage. Update zoning, invest more city money in affordable units, lower the time and cost city bureaucracy imposes on construction. Get 1,000 of vacant regulated unit back on the market. We need bold action. This is a crisis. So it is just crazy. Then it continues to go on. He put right here, under Mondani's NYC rent reached records high, while officials announce another taxpayer-funded housing project. How about keeping the promises you made, Mondani? Such a disconnect in a collapsing system. Median rent prices surging more than 8% year to year.
New York City's Department of Housing Preservation and Development is planning what they're calling an exciting announcement about a new affordable housing project in the East Village. This comes as a new report confirms something many of us have felt. Housing prices just hit another record high in the city. Business Derek Waller is here now to break down the alarming new numbers, and they are alarming.
Yes, stunning new numbers, really, that we just got this weekend, and they are alarming. And I can tell you that the June median rents in Manhattan surged to numbers we've never seen before, and that is pushing up prices in the outer boroughs as well.
I mean, it's pretty expensive. It's definitely a premium to live in New York, but it's a very nice city.
But nice comes at a cost. Alma Raghazi just moved to Rego Park, Queens from Tampa, Florida for med school.
It's probably about $1,000 more a month. Back in Tampa, it was around $1,300. Here, it's around $2,300.
And that price for a one-bedroom is quite cheap compared to what the same unit's renting for in Manhattan. A report from the real estate firm Corcoran showing median rent prices surging more than 8% year to year to just shy of $5,300 a month. Brooklyn also hitting a record at $4,350.
Well, it's like Mondani is working hard to just keep destroying New York City. It's like every time he come out with something, it's something stupid. It's something to hurt the very same people who voted for him. And I always say, do y'all feel sorry for New Yorkers? It seems like I ask that question every time I do a video on Mondani. Do y'all feel sorry for New Yorkers? And I just hate, like I said, that, you know, that they believe them and believe all those lies.
Other recent data showing higher prices in parts of the Bronx and Queens too. Average rent prices in Rego Park up 12% year to year for a one-bedroom, according to real estate firm M&S.
And the landlords are not running social welfare programs. It's not like I'm, let's love the landlord, but I mean, they provide a service. They're doing it for a profit.
This is a crisis.
New York City Comptroller Mark Levine telling me it's as simple as supply and demand.
Rents are going up everywhere for one simple reason. We don't have enough housing.
You know, isn't it just so expensive to build a new project in New York City? Is that part of the issue as well? Because you see these new buildings go up and they've got to charge like, $6,000 for a one-bedroom.
More than that, man. We are seeing the average cost of housing easy $750,000 per unit, and sometimes more than $1 million per unit.
He's calling on city lawmakers to streamline regulations and make sure office or residential conversions continue.
It would be a terrible mistake if, because of this horrible construction accident, which is serious, which does need to be investigated, but if we let that one construction accident stop this very successful plan to convert vacant office space to housing, it would be a terrible mistake.
And that report from Corcoran also revealing the vacancy rate in Manhattan continues to get tighter. Katie, just 1.49% of all apartments in the borough are actually available to rent.
My God, man, this is just absolute. That's why I said I'd never live in New York. I would never live in it. There's no way that I would. I don't even want to go on vacation to New York. Not while Mondani is the mayor. I'm just telling you that now. It's like, and then look at the people that, that just won. You got, like I said, Hakeem Jeffries, sitting up here crying and stuff like that. And now Mondani is trying to take over the Democratic Party. And then you had Democrats going against them, talking about, hey, you going to cause us to lose the midterms. Well, with what Mondani is doing, I feel like the Democrats are going to lose the midterms anyway. I still feel like President Trump is going. I feel like the Republicans are going to win. And I still feel like they need to pass the Save America Act. I don't know what the word John Thune is doing with this 2-week recess crap. Need to go try to pass the Save America Act, and that's what's going to really, really help. So let's get to this right here when Mondani was trying to meet with Iran. And you see what they've been saying about President Trump. You see Iran, I showed y'all a video yesterday that Iran is taking credit of what happened to Lindsey Graham. It's like, what? So now you got Mondani and his team was trying to set up a behind the scenes meeting with Iran, knowing that Iran is trying to assassinate President Trump or trying to.
So do I want to do that? No. Do I want to destroy their infrastructure? No. It will take them 100 years to rebuild. Right now, if we left today, it would take them 20 years to rebuild their country, and it would never be as good as it was. And the only way they're going to be able to rebuild their country is to utilize the genius of the United States of America.
You voiced your displeasure with NATO in the past. Is there a danger to the U.S. not being the de facto of the leader of the alliance, and then other powers within the alliance then getting the decision making when it comes to wars and nuclear weapons?
No, it's not a danger. Look, we went to NATO. I didn't ask very strongly. I just said, hey, if you want to help, great. No, we will not help. I said, that's all right. You don't want to help? Because I've always said NATO's a paper tiger. See, NATO's a paper tiger. Putin's not afraid of NATO. Putin's afraid of us, very afraid of us. And he's explained it to me a lot of times. I got to know him very well. I know him very well. NATO's a paper tiger. NATO is us. And when we needed them, but we didn't need them, by the way. We didn't need them, obviously, because they haven't helped at all. Just the opposite. They've actually gone out of their way not to help. They didn't even want to give us landing strips. He's great. And Pete, all I can say is that he was treated very unfairly. And now those same people that treated him unfairly, that fought against him, they called me up and said, what a great choice he was. They said, well, what happened during his nomination? What happened to you? I'm telling you, people that were not for him, senators, friends of mine, sir, I don't think you're doing the right thing. Now they're calling me up. What a choice. These two guys are fantastic. And John Ratcliffe was incredible. It was actually their genius that called us he was 40 miles away. And he said, we're seeing something moving up in the mountain. This is at night. And they kept the camera on him for 45 minutes. He wasn't moving. And they said, probably wrong, but we're seeing something moving. This is a vast mountain. Vast. Thick. With bushes, trees. He said, we see something moving 40 miles away. It was the head of a human being, I'm telling you. It's moving. And then all of a sudden, 45 minutes later, he moved a lot. Stood up, and they said, we have him. And that was really the beginning of something incredible. We had an idea where he was, but not specifically. And it's a big mountain. So I want to thank the CIA, too. I don't think they get enough credit for the great job they've done. Yes, please.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, for this great opportunity. Country, it has super army. You make a difference, Mr. President. Thank you for your greatest leadership.
Thank you.
I have two quick questions, Mr. President. What was your reaction when you learned that Kurdistan region had resumed exporting oil to the international market with your support as United States of America?
Well, I expected that. We've gotten along with the Kurds for a long time, so I expected that.
Another question, what would be your reaction if the Iranian people rise up against their regime during a ceasefire, Mr. President?
Well, they should do it, but again, the consequences are great. I mean, they were told, if you protest, you will be shot immediately. You saw what happened to the young wrestler. He was a great champion, by the way. He was a great wrestler, one of the top in the world. And he and his two friends were hung. And all they did was say a little bit about liberty. They wanted liberty, and they were violently executed. But the number is up to probably 45,000 people were killed. So, when somebody stays in a house, when they know if they walk out of the house to protest, they'll be immediately shot and killed. And they issued that, that was publicly issued. It's not a secret. That's why so many people say, oh, well, why are you doing this way? We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. We got regime change. We're dealing with a much different regime than before. We're dealing with different people. They're smarter. I think they're sharper and far less radical. We have regime change, but we didn't do this for regime change. We did it for the fact, and my view was very simple. I saw somebody said, oh, he doesn't have a plan. I have the best plan of all, but I'm not going to tell you what my plan is. They want me to say, here's my plan. We're going to attack at 9:47 in the morning, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to... And if you don't do that, they say, I have a plan. These people know what the plan is. Everybody here knows what the plan is. But it's very unfair to say, because I don't mind being insulted. I've been insulted for many years by the fake news, but you can't. It's so bad for people that are you just saw two great and John Ratcliffe, three unbelievable people. They have a plan. Every single thing has been thought out by all of us. But I can't reveal the plan to the media. So, but we're just thrilled by the success of this operation. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President. You've said Iranians would be mad if you stopped these attacks, but why would they want you to blow up their infrastructure, to cut off their power? Wouldn't that be punishing Iranians for the actions of the regime?
They would be willing to, and it's suffering, they would be willing to suffer that in order to have freedom. The Iranians we've had numerous intercepts. Please keep bombing. Bombs that are dropping near their homes. Please keep bombing. Do it. And these are people that are living where the bombs are exploding. And when we leave and we're not hitting those areas, they're saying, please come back, come back, come back. These are the people. I don't know what they do. All I can tell you is they want freedom. They have lived in a world that you know nothing about. It's a violent, horrible world where if you protest, you are shot. Remember the great woman protests where they had 400,000, 500,000 women, and they were all enthused and they were going to protest, and everybody said, oh, the regime's going to come to an end. And then all of a sudden, boom, boom, 5, 6 different areas. A woman would go down right between the eyes. They had snipers. They had 5 snipers. That's all it took. And those 400,000 or 500,000 women said, oh my God, what's that? Oh, look over there, what's that? A woman shot right between the eyes. And after 5 or 6 of them go down, then you start hearing the purr through the vast number of people. And then they said, oh my God, who would do that? And they're incredible people, but they've lived so horribly. They've lived so horribly. Iran was a great country if you go back 25 years ago or so. The Persian people, they're incredible, smart, brilliant actually. And I know so many. I know coming from New York, originally I know so many people from Iran. They're incredible people, incredible energy and very, very brilliant people. But when you're standing in a group and protesting and you have a woman, in the case of a woman, remember the Great Woman March, everybody was saying, oh, this is the end of the country. And then snipers selectively picked. Every single one was shot right between the eyes from a long distance. They were on top of buildings. Nobody even knew where they were. Where they coming from? This wasn't like a machine gun, which is also very bad. They've done that too. They did that recently. This was snipers sitting on the top of buildings, aiming and hitting women. And when they see people go down, and all of a sudden there's a riot in the reverse direction, and they never came out again. And a lot of the news doesn't talk about that. They talk about, oh, women's rights. You want to see women's rights? You're not going to see it there. It's amazing when I see some of the stupid people like, AOC plus 3, all that group. They talk about, oh, freedom for Iran. They don't tell you the real facts. Women, men, gays. How about gays for Iran? They kill the gays. They throw them off buildings. So I wonder what's going on. I can only say this. They want us to keep bombing, even if it jeopardizes, because their life is in much greater danger. They want freedom for Iran, but it's very hard for them to protest. I actually tell them, I said, don't go out. I fully understand. Nobody in this room would go out. I don't think there's any, because frankly, it's not a question of bravery. We're all brave, right? You're brave, I'm brave, we're all brave. But we're also intelligent. If you have people shooting at you, expert shots with the best rifles you can get, and hitting you right between the eyes every single time, and you're looking here and you're seeing and you're looking here, you're out of there. I don't care who it is. Please.
Mark Meredith, Fox News.
I know that.
Oh, thank you.
Go ahead.
America's watching. No, can we go back to the weekend? First off, was everyone on board with the operation, or were there people that were trying to talk you out of going through with the operation this weekend?
Not everybody was on board.
Somebody else within?
No, there was military people, very professional, that preferred not doing it. These two were totally on board. which was very important. If they weren't, I would have had a little difficulty. But no, there were military people that said, you just don't do this. You don't go into the heart of a very powerful military. You know, this is, hey, you have countries and countries. You have some countries where military is not their strong suit. This whole thing is militarized like nobody's ever seen before. Half the people are wearing uniforms. And we had people within the military. Usually it's not done. That's one of the reasons, I was surprised. Somebody said it's the only time it's ever been done. I said, that's not possible. But it is possible, because you're going into hundreds of thousands of soldiers along the path. I mean, look at some of the helicopters, how they got hit. So yeah, there were people within the military that said it's a wise. And don't forget, how many men did you send altogether, approximately, for the operation?
I'd love to keep that a secret.
Okay, well, we are. But I will tell you, the number, I'll keep it a secret, but it was hundreds and hundreds of these people. That's pretty good. Is he central casting? But hundreds of people went into this journey. Hundreds of people could have been killed. Forget about the equipment, a lot of equipment, nobody cares. Hundreds of people could have been killed. So
would you have to pay him some of the money?
Basically, when I got the money for the check, he gave me like $100, $200 return check and kept it.
Okay.
For her to say this about me, I'm not affected.
But why would everybody else say the same thing?
Because I'm not lying with her. I'm not lying. That's why I had to move. I'm going to move in with my girlfriend's mother.
At midday, detectives from the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office arrived at the offices of Project Lift, an organization that helps high school students develop job skills and earn income through workforce programs. But that day, investigators were looking into something far more serious. Authorities suspected that several teenagers had become involved in an alleged check fraud scheme to cash counterfeit checks for quick money.
So you don't know where Queso lives?
Mm-hmm.
Your son? And what's his nickname?
Queso.
You only did 2 checks, right? And how much money did you give him?
I only gave him half what I gave him. He only gave me $150. What I'm saying is, it's not the first time my mother done tried to piss on me to order to say what she got going on and stuff like that. Yeah, bro.
As detectives dug deeper, the case raised even bigger questions about who might have been behind the operation. So how did it all begin? Stay with us as we uncover the truth.
You know, I don't hear about all these chances. So you know all these kids? So not all of those kids belong to us. I actually went down to the store last week. He is currently our only active participant. However, he has not shown up since the 19th.
Do you know when he tried to cash this? Did they call you?
They did not call us when this happened. I'm not sure exactly. Let's see if it's in.
What's your date of birth?
My date of birth is 93.
Okay. And you run this? Is it your business?
It's not my business. I am the site director.
Okay. So you're employed by whoever runs it?
Yes.
Okay.
Our CEO, his name is Bob Zacchio. Let's see, I don't think I have one for this one.
Yeah, this is the only one he tried to do, and they asked him for his supervisor's phone number, and he ran.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, and they can't tell me when he did it, so I can't.
Yeah, because they didn't put it in their system.
So, you know Amante Tracy?
He was a former participant.
Okay, and it ended prior to December?
Yeah, way before then. His brother is actually the current participant here.
Okay, so, and they can't tell me about this check, which I don't know why. So, Bonzi Moore? You don't know who that is?
Mm-mm.
Never been here?
No.
And Maria Williams?
She has been here before, however, she was never eligible for a check. Because she was not here long enough.
Jakari Rhodes?
So I do not know him, however, I got a call from a check cashing store in Naples about another check that he was trying to cash. I told them that I could not verify that.
Okay, Antron McCants?
No.
Christian Williams?
So he was at one point trying to get into our program, and he has some sort of association with Anaria Williams.
Okay, so you've seen them together.
So with him trying to come into our program, they have to do a referral. The addresses are the same.
Oh, so according to his application,
Yeah.
which could be just made up.
It could be, yeah, but he was trying to come here at one point in time. However, we never got him in.
Did I ask you about Quantree Tracy?
Quantree Tracy is the mother of Amante Tracy and the mother of one of the participants we currently have here.
So she would not be eligible because she's a much older adult.
She did at one point, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, take our Strong Families program way back when. However, we do not provide them with checks.
Not parents.
No, they get gift cards.
Okay, and so she did 2 checks. Okay, so that is helpful. And you guys did not write any of these checks? Because
No.
they don't even look like your checks.
No, they do not. Yeah, this is obviously, these are the fraudulent ones.
And if you guys are the victim in this case,
These are the legit ones.
If you guys end up being the victim in the case, would you guys like to prosecute?
I would actually have to contact let me contact her now so she can give you the answer.
I don't think you're going to be the victim.
Right, no. Our bank has already sent those back, so we've already reported those as fraud.
Okay.
So, see if I can get on the phone.
If not, you could just call me back.
Okay. Hey, the detective is here about the checks.
Of course I left.
Yeah. You're on speaker, so just be mindful. So,
You're not supposed to be on speaker.
I know, that's why I gave you the warning. So, she was just asking about the people whose names were on the checks. And I was confirming whether or not, they were legitimate to our program.
Okay.
And she asked if we happen to be the victim in this case, would we want to pursue prosecution?
Hold on, let me walk over to Nancy, who's our finance.
You're already back at the bank building?
Yeah, I paid my ticket at the courthouse. I was the only one there.
Oh wow, go you. Making progress.
I only got stuck behind one tractor.
Oh, lucky.
Hold on real quick.
Okay.
What's your phone number here?
56.
And so you live in another county?
I live in Clewiston.
Clewiston?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'll look you up.
Are you Chelsea?
Yes.
Okay, I got Nancy right here, so ask your question again.
So I'm here with the detective, and they would like to know if we became a victim for these bad checks, if we would like to pursue prosecution.
So, and can the detective hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, I just want to explain, because of the type of bank account we have, and we have a lot of fraud protection associated with it, we were able to decline the processing of those checks and report them as fraudulent. So we've had no damages whatsoever because those funds did not come out of our account and we were able to stop them.
Right, I'm saying you become a victim in this case, would you be willing to prosecute? Because I'm not sure where this is going. This is my first day looking into all this.
Sure. Yeah, if we became a victim.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Okay.
And I'll let you know if I find any evidence of that.
Okay.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. All right, Chelsea, if you still need me or you want to just give me an update after?
Yeah, I can just give you an update.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, so who was that on the phone that made the decision?
That was Nancy. She is our chief financial officer.
Do you know her last name?
Stern, S.
Do you know, like, approximate age?
No. I want
Do
to
you
say 50.
Do you know where she lives?
So Palm City.
Palm City?
Yeah.
What do you think the kids do here for money?
So they do have to earn it, and it's based on their attendance, behavior, and sobriety. They do have to participate in vocational trade training, job skills, life skills.
So just taking classes.
Yeah, and then we do have a high school diploma program here too. So if they haven't gotten their high school diploma, if they're eligible to get it, they can.
All right, so you raise your right hand. You swear everything you told me is the truth?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I left you my card with my cell phone number.
And I'll give you mine just in case. It also has an email address on it.
Okay.
It has my old job title, but I promise I'm the site director now.
You promoted?
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for coming by. I appreciate it. All right. Let me know if we can be of any more assistance and stay safe.
All right.
Better?
All right.
It's like that.
Thank you. Okay, we're here to talk to you about a case that I'm working. I was waiting for some print hits to come back. I know it's not just you and it's a whole big group of people, so I'm coming to ask you what you know to see if you'll tell me the truth. I can tell you you're not going to jail today. I'm just here to talk to you. Okay. So do you remember cashing checks at the check cashing store over by Bank of Belgrade in the southeast section?
You talking about that's Main Street?
Yeah, Main Street on the left. If you go past Main Street on MLK.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Stuff.
Okay. Are these the checks you cashed? They're written to you?
I lost my identification on the bus and I called the police and I got a report from the man and I told him that it had my ID and everything and it had my son's on.
Well, the problem is that this print was placed on there on video by the person who cashed it, and I have that is your print on there.
You're talking about the checks?
Yeah, the check. They placed that print when they got to the store while they were cashing the check.
Okay.
So I know it's you that was in there cashing the check.
Yeah, I remember going there.
Okay. Where did you get these checks? You don't remember? Okay. This is what I'm talking about. I'm not here.
Decision I made and I did it.
Okay. But you don't know who gave them to you?
It was just one friend came to me and asked me, do I want to cash a check? I said, yeah. And that's the checks they gave us.
Is their friend's name Vonzie Moore? Vonzie Moore?
No.
What's the name? Christian Williams?
I just know nicknames. I don't know real names.
Well, what's his nickname?
The nickname was Aiden. The nickname I done got was LJ Carr. It was a bunch of us.
A bunch of us? Yeah. So, well, and it was your son.
Which one?
Which son do I have here? Amante. So, I don't have Amante's prints, but these prints are identifiable.
Okay.
So I'm asking you if you will bring him to the sheriff's office next week, so we can take his prints and compare.
Okay.
If you're willing to do that,
okay.
I don't have to get a search warrant and take him into custody and take him there. It'd be less traumatic.
I ain't got time
Was he
for
with you when you cashed the check?
No, we ain't never all going at the same time.
Yeah, he was on a different day.
Yeah.
But he got a check also.
Yeah.
How many checks
all
did you
did.
guys have?
I don't even know about the ones I did. I don't even know how many you did.
He did 3 checks.
He did 3. I don't know about the ones I did.
You just did the 2. Okay. And you don't know the name of the guy who gave them to you?
Just like I said, it was just friends, and they asked me did I want to do it. It was a dumb decision, and we both did it.
Okay. So, did you ask your son if he wanted to do it, or did this person ask your son?
We all know. We all be in a group together.
Okay.
That's my son right here. I don't have no problem with bringing him.
This is Amante?
Come on.
Looks like everyone's loaded up. We should be leaving here.
Yeah, he's an adult now, or he's a juvenile?
17.
He's 17. So, will you allow us to talk to him?
You can talk to him right here.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm here about the 3 checks that you cashed. You know that I know the guy who gave you guys the checks?
Nah, I didn't know his name.
You didn't know his name?
Of course you don't.
Who asked you to do the checks if you wanted to?
I don't know his name.
You don't know his name? Okay, but somebody asked you.
Yeah.
And listen, we're not trying to get you guys we're not trying to get you guys to snitch on you. We have to ask that question. Whenever you guys, they come bring you those checks like that, they put your prints on, or whatever. It's just a matter of time before we find out. You know what I'm saying? You ever been arrested before? So ain't too much gonna happen to you out of this right here. Okay?
No, your mom said she'd bring you down to the sheriff's office next week so we can take your prints to compare. Did you put your prints on these checks? You had to. So these are your prints?
You use your
Okay.
school ID.
What ID did you use?
I don't know ID I use because I ain't have to use no ID.
Okay, because if you don't have ID, they take your school ID usually at the
That's the
store.
thing, when we go one time, when we went one time to that store and used our ID, we ain't have to use our ID no more.
Yeah, because they pull it up in the system.
Yeah.
You're in their computer.
So it probably was your school ID that you used the first time you went there.
So here's the deal, guys. You know, I get it. We all get it. You know, times are hard on everybody.
That's why I said, I don't got nothing to hide.
Times are hard. We're not looking down on you guys or whatever. You know, you guys saw this as an opportunity to make some quick, easy money.
Like I said.
But what they don't tell you is the end result of this here. Sometimes people get away with it, sometimes they don't. When they don't get away with it, then people like us don't. Okay, now, the good part about this right here is probably not too much going to come out of this here, especially for you being a juvenile. Okay, but just use it as a learning experience or whatever. But what she's going to do is she's doing the best she say. She's the lead in this investigation. We're not taking anybody to jail. Okay.
I'm going to talk to everybody. I'm going to gather all my facts. I'm going to file the case with the state attorney's office and let them make the decision if they want to prosecute.
And also, too, the biggest thing that we're trying to do
If
is,
we just gotta go to court about it, we just gotta go to court.
you know, the biggest thing what we want to try to do, guys, is we want to try to find out the person that's.
Like I said, we not from up here, we from Miami, so therefore the people that we know from up here, we only be basically knowing nicknames and stuff like that. So it was just a little quick opportunity to do something. I wasn't working at the time, but now I'm working, so it is
Where you
what
working
it is.
at?
Thank you.
Okay. All right. She gonna leave her.
Yeah, if you run into that person, you remember the nickname, anything, just give me a call.
And she's gonna set it up with you guys or whatever. It's gonna be quick. Okay, we're gonna have you come down or whatever. Basically, they just gonna get your fingerprints. She's gonna send it over to the lead print unit, and they're just gonna. We already know it's you on the checks or whatever. We already know that, but we just like to compare it or whatever, just to be sure. Okay.
So just remember, you're about to turn 18.
Yeah.
You will be held a little bit more responsible for stuff, and you don't do this again because this could hurt your future.
So you never been arrested before, right? What's your name?
Amante?
That's just like, it wasn't even
You gotta
something, that's
understand.
like it's detained from when the
Right.
de-escalated situation.
Right. Listen, you're 17. You're about how many months away from being 18?
Next year, February.
Next year. Okay. Bro, you're close to making it. Okay? What that means is that from the rest of your life, when you turn 18, everything you do, it's going to be on you. And it's going to follow you. Okay? Right now, when you turn 18, you ain't got no record. You can go in and put in for any job you want. None of that stuff is going to show you. Okay? Once you hit that 18 mark, little stuff like this right here, dude, it just kills you. Because when you get 23 or whatever, you go out to try to find a legitimate job or whatever, you can't get a job because they see, hey, oh, this dude here, he was cashing bad checks. You know, you gotta be smart, you gotta use your head. It ain't working any longer.
No, in the long run, you're going to be better off.
Yeah. Now, you get you a $70,000 job, something like that there, you don't need to do stuff like this, but you can't land that job. Because okay? All right. All right, Mary, you got anything else?
So what I call this number next week?
Yeah, I'll, let me confirm your phone number. We'll try to work it around your schedule. I don't want to mess up your job or anything, and we'll try to work it around school. Because if he's going to
Matter of fact, Monday, I don't have to be to work until 11 p.m. I could come Monday.
Okay, yeah, I'm waiting for Leighton Prince to call me back because they have to take it, and I think it's gonna have to be in West Palm. Oh, you got a car? Okay. That's good for me to know, because see what arrangements I can make.
Yeah, because we on bus.
We may see if we can, I don't know, about maybe getting a print kit, or just take them, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean, I used to work in the jail. I know how to take fingerprints.
Okay.
Okay, all right, we appreciate you.
All right, thank you.
Make this a lot easier.